Hello, happy Friday.
Hey,
All
good to
right,
see you. We've got myths we're going to bust today.
absolutely.
We are the real estate myth busters, among other things.
So we're running a couple minutes late because of technical difficulties, but we are still here and hopefully providing some good information for you if you're in the market or thinking about getting in the market soon. So,
yeah, and you're going to hear a lot of stuff from a lot of people. Please listen to us, not them.
yes. So the first and important one that I think that is very easy for us to bust right now is the housing market starts after the Super Bowl. So first of all, I don't even know if people know the Super Bowl's been pushed back. So that really has zero relevance to a lot of people. They just, go out when it makes sense. But have you listed a couple houses recently?
Yeah, and we had a couple people look at them
Yes.
and make offers. It's
Yes,
it is spring market is in full swing.
absolutely.
Um,
I
I
was showing houses yesterday, and as I was showing houses were going under contract that we were planning to see.
I just got a text from an agent saying, "Why can't I schedule a showing?" I'm like, "Cause there's showings. There's already people
Oh,
going to be there."
yes,
So yes,
absolutely. So now some markets, we've had a pretty robust last couple of years, and the market really hasn't slowed down. There hasn't been, there has been different markets based on other things going on as far
and we
as
did
interest rates
experience a
rising.
regular fall slowdown and a regular, winter slowdown to an extent. Those that were on the market, it didn't sell like it is today. This is renewed spring market stuff that we haven't seen for the past few months, but it was never dead. It was never done.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. So looking as next myth we'd like to talk about real quick is looking at houses is the best first step.
No. Just like we're talking about, you've got to elbow 30 other people out of the way. You've got to be ready.
You need to make decisions, and when you're ready, those offers need to go in, and those offers never go in without a pre-approval.
No, and if they do, they're not looked at. They're just nobody is. You could offer $1 billion on a $200,000 house, and they're not going to look at it if you don't have a pre-approval. So
They're
don't
going
waste
to.
everybody's time.
You're not a serious buyer at that point.
And of course, the first decision you need to make is who's your real estate agent going to be. So we've got great lenders to introduce you to. We have people who will put you in first position to buy that home, all other things considered. And we know how to write a competitive offer. We know what sellers are probably looking for. So that's the first thing you have to do. Next thing is connect with one of our fabulous lenders to put yourself in the best position. And that's like going shopping and getting to the register with your big pile of stuff at Kohl's and saying, you know what, I don't have a credit card, but how about I don't want to miss out on these things. So can I just buy them? Of course not.
Correct. So, and I think that sometimes when people are apprehensive to talk to a lender or think that they need to find their house first, I think that there's some other issues that are underlying. And I think one of them might be pre-approvals hurt your credit, or that is the next myth we're going to talk about, pre-approvals hurting your credit.
Yes.
Does pre-approvals hurt your credit? No. First of all, there's soft pulls, and the industry is not out there to try to at any point knock your credit score down.
And even if it is a hard pull, which
eventually it will,
that needs to get done, it's not going to damage your credit unless you're like at 699 and or you're at 700 and going to 699 would damage it. It's very minor and it lasts for a short amount of time, and it's necessary. So
yeah, there's no way around it. And again, the credit bureaus understand that if they see one or two, even a couple hits on your credit report for the same thing, they all lump it into one. They don't count each hit, as if I were to start calling credit card companies and start asking for more credit cards, each of those are going to be hit. But when it's kind of an inquiry of your credit to see where you are and what a lender could do for you. Now, I wouldn't suggest getting online and start putting in your information in some of those search engines, because sometimes those are starting to go out to 10, 15 lenders at a time. And if, depending on how much information you put in there, if they start to all hit them, that is a whole nother thing. So you do want to be wary of and aware of who you're getting, these pulls from. But again, that's why.
That's another reason to talk to us first. Don't just go willy-nilly with ridiculously named lenders.
Yeah, people you've never heard of. I mean, they were the top engine search. So you just put your information in there. I mean, that's scary too. The type of information you have to provide is a bit too much, and you don't want to be just giving it to anybody. You want a trusted source or two. So in addition, you need 20% down to buy a house.
No.
So if you've watched any of our previous videos, hopefully you have, there is so many different lending options out there, and 20% is really great if you can pull it off. But if it's coming to a cost of other things that would affect your credit score, then it's better to handle your credit score and your other bills
or
first.
Better ways to use your money or have your money grow.
That too.
I am not a fan of putting 20% down on a house, really, under most circumstances. I don't think it makes sense, especially at 3% interest. So you can put that money someplace else and gain a whole lot more money for it. The fees that you have to pay for not putting 20% down are really pretty minimal. You could do a whole lot of things with that new house of yours with that money if you want to. However, sometimes when we're in this competitive, I have to beat out other offers, that can be a factor. So we do sometimes look at increasing that if it's possible.
Correct. But we'll be able to help you with that. And so will the lender be able to help you figure out what's the best use for your money. But there are loans that are as low as 3.5%. There are sometimes, in fact, it's expiring in the next 10 days or so, but there are down payment assistance programs out there. They're a little less these days than they have been in the past, but they are still around for those who qualify. And so that is, there's so many options out there, but 5-10% is, those can be strong offers in some cases. So 20% is, kind of overkill sometimes. So, but it depends, maybe if you just sold a house and now you're putting that equity into another house, then of course, but if it's just about buying a house today or buying a house in a year because you're trying to get 20% down, that interest rate in the last 2 weeks has gone up almost a point. So we don't know where that's going to be in 6 months or a year.
Save that much that fast.
Correct. Absolutely. And so now that we talked about down payment and that myth, the second part of that that I wanted to talk about today is down payments is the only cost up front. So you've gotten 10% down, maybe. Let's say you're buying a $250,000 house and you have $25,000. Unfortunately, that's not going to get you as far as you hoped. It's not going to be that full 10% because we have a couple other things. So the first one will be earnest money. Now that does go towards your, eventual closing costs and what you need to come to the table with. But you would need that right away. Then you need to pay for inspectors. There's quite a few inspections that you can get. A general home inspection is always recommended, and a radon test is highly recommended right after that. Now, there's other tests that are kind of optional or are situational. If you have, if there's septic tanks and stuff, sometimes we can get the sellers to pay for that, but in this type of market, it might be just better for, our people, our buyers to just get that inspection done too. So there's various options out there for different types of inspections. So you'll need to have money ready for that. And then there's just overall closing cost. There's going to be attorney fees and title fees and loan and origination fees that might need to come out of that often come out of people's pockets. Sometimes you can roll some of that up, but it's still more money out of pocket and to be aware of. And we do, when we are putting in offers, again, with our lenders, they'll be very happy to talk to you about what those fees might be and what you can, expect to come to the closing table with.
And that's when a lender is going to look at what you have. You have to understand that a lender is on your team. So you need to share that, you need to, confess to them like they are your confessor. And they need to see everything. So just having the money isn't enough. They need to be able to verify where it came from. They have federal laws that they need to abide by. So you need to make sure that that's all vetted. That's another thing that needs to be done up front. You don't want to get those surprises later. So they're going to help you understand what those fees are and whether you have enough cash available and legal to cover it.
Yes.
So what's next?
That's it. That's our first 5.
That's it.
So
right.
We're going to do a couple series of these. So keep, an eye out on our Friday, Keeping the Real in Real Estate. And we'll have one of these again soon for
all right.
busting. Have a great weekend. All right.
If you've got any, by the way, if you hear any things and you say, I always heard it was a rule of thumb that, pop that in the comments. We will use that in future Mythbusters and we'll tell you whether it's true or not. Some of these myths.
Yeah, I was gonna say we chose all myths that are for real myths, not just misconceptions or real. Maybe next time we will prove some of these to be right. So
yeah. All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See you next week.
All right.